911, what is your emergency?
Help! I've set the house on fire trying to cook a sandwich.
Sir, why didn't you just eat it cold?
I don't know, man. I've been trying to learn how to cook since I graduated high school. I've been so bored. I need to change my life, man.
Hey, have you ever thought about attending Grandview University?
Grandview? What's that?
It's a great liberal arts university right on 14th Street.
Right here in Des Moines?
Yeah, they offer 40 different majors and have one of the leading nursing programs in the country.
Wow, I always wanted to be a nurse. I heard they make pretty good money.
You should stop by Grandview's admissions office today. I just graduated and I'm already working this awesome job as a 911 operator.
Cool, I'll stop by tomorrow. So can you guys send a fire truck or something now?
Oh yeah, right away. Sorry, I just get so excited when I talk about Grandview.
Grandview University. Start your adventure today. You're listening to The Edge, 88.1. Big Gil back in the studio with you. We're going to be with you for the next hour or so. Got some really interesting stuff coming up from the world of sports. Even a sport that hasn't been invented yet. We'll explain later. But first, I want to talk to you about a cool story about the men's basketball team preparing for their national tournament over spring break. There's some player interviews and a cool inside look at the success the men's basketball team has had this year. The field of 32 teams will be announced later on this week. Now back to the music. You're listening to The Edge, 88.1. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the best basketball player that you've probably never heard of. His name is Marcus Keene, and he attends Central Michigan University. He is the nation's top scorer with 29.6 points per game. That is 4 more points than the second leading scorer. Now, the thing about Marcus Keene is that he's only 5 foot 9 inches tall, and he has received tons of comparisons to Isaiah Thomas for their height and then just their style of play. Another thing about Marcus Keene is that he was a 0-star recruit coming out of high school, and his only D1 offer was to Youngstown State, where he attended before transferring to Central Michigan. He has more 40-point games this year than Steph Curry and Jimmer Fredette had in their final tournament, and those are some pretty impressive players. Now, Central Michigan is a long shot to make the big dance right now, but if they do, be ready to watch Marcus Keene. Now back to the music on The Edge, 88.1. Back in the studio on The Edge, 88.1. Now, this next story is for you if you like tennis, dogs, or both. For the second year, the Brazil Open will be using dogs as ball retrievers while the players warm up. All 6 dogs that they're using are from local shelters and are looking for a home, and they're up for adoption. I think there's a golden retriever on there. I think a Saint Bernard. So they're all big dogs, so keep that in mind if you only have room for a smaller dog, if you're looking to adopt. Every dog from this tournament was actually adopted last year. So this is a pretty cool idea and a great story from tennis. So if you're looking to adopt the dog, make sure you tune into the Brazil Open, and you might find the right one for you. Now back to the music with Dierks Bentley. So growing up, did you ever try to make your own sport as a kid by combining 2 sports together? Well, people in Southeast Asia have done that with soccer and volleyball with great success. The sport is taking off. The sport is called Sepak Takraw or kick volleyball. This is a new sport to Southeast Asia. The 2 teams face off in a 3-on-3 matchup. It's like volleyball, but with their feet. They have a net about waist high, and it looks unbelievably challenging. The sport was invented in Malaysia and Thailand, but has spread throughout the entire region. Thailand and Malaysia have a fierce rivalry in the sport, actually, and groups are trying to bring the sport to North America in PE classes. So if your child comes home talking about a weird mashup between soccer and volleyball, you'll know what they're talking about. Now back to the music with Wiz Khalifa on The Edge, 88.1. Back in the studio on The Edge, 88.1 with Big Gil here. So ever think growing up that your school had the best student section, maybe your high school or your college, you thought your student section was just awesome? Well, yours wasn't the best. Grand Canyon University may be home to the best student section in college basketball. The mascot of the university is the Antelope, but the student section is nicknamed the Havocs. And they have one goal in mind: to be the most spirited, energetic, and distracting student section in the nation. Grand Canyon University, if you've never heard of it, you're excused because it just recently became a D1 school and is playing in the Western Athletic Conference. I saw a video of this, and the student section is insane. Costumes, body paint, choreographed dances, people crowd surfing, just bananas. So now back to the music on The Edge, 88.1. You're listening to The Edge, 88.1. So I'm sure growing up, your parents always told you not to play with your food, but that rule is completely thrown out the window in this next sport. It is an over 100-year tradition that is held in Ramsbottom, yes, Ramsbottom, a village in northern England. The World Black Pudding Throw Championships are held here. Contestants throw black pudding up in the air at Yorkshire pudding that is set dangling over a ledge, and the goal is to knock down as many Yorkshire puddings as possible. Gavin Ogden, a 50-year-old man, won the competition by knocking down 3 puddings just last month. Now, black pudding isn't pudding at all. It is actually a combination of pig's blood, fat, and intestine. It's no wonder they'd rather throw it than eat it. Now back to the music with Drake on The Edge, 88.1. You're listening to The Edge, 88.1. Our final topic for you tonight is about a stolen medal. So Olympic gold medalist Joe Jacoby won the 2-man canoe slalom event in Barcelona, Spain in 1992. So 25 years ago now. But his medal was stolen from his car earlier this year while he was at a restaurant in Atlanta. Why did he have his gold medal in his car? He lives in Tennessee, was in Atlanta visiting family, and he brought his gold medal with him? I don't know, but anyways, after it had been missing for a few weeks, a 6-year-old girl found it while on a walk with her family in a wooded area. She noticed it, they picked it up, and they had seen something on Facebook about how this man's medal was missing, and they returned it to him. It was in fine condition. Pretty cool gesture by the family, and a pretty funny story about the Olympics in a time that we don't get much news about the Olympics. Hope you guys have a good night. Now back to the music with The Cab on The Edge, 88.1.
You're listening to The Edge, 88.1, KDPS Des Moines, with JQ and Big Gil here on Major League Mondays for the first time in a while. What's up, Big Gil?
I'm doing good. Ready to have a great show. How about you?
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to start it off with a big one today. Tom Brady, his jersey was finally found. We talked about it earlier. It must have been a couple weeks ago after his jersey was stolen after the Super Bowl. Finally been found, and it was found in the possession of an unidentified member of the international media. What does that mean? Who was it?
Was it just I think it was just, from my understandings, it was a media member in the locker room after the game, and he just took it. Was he trying to make a profit? I don't understand his motives, I guess.
What a neat way to put it, though. An unidentified member of the international media.
Yeah, no kidding. Nobody outside the media world has any idea what that means, I'm sure. It was found in Mexico, and it was worth $500,000. And was he just hanging on to it? Why didn't he sell it?
And he had Tom's jersey from the Seattle Seahawks victory, too, from like 2 years ago. So he had both these jerseys, but I don't remember that being a story, so I thought that was kind of weird.
That is weird. That is just bizarre that this man is taking Tom Brady's jerseys after Super Bowl games.
Well, congratulations, unidentified member of the international media. But yeah, I think your run is over now. So we're going back to the music here on The Edge, 88.1.
You're listening to The Edge, 88.1 on Major League Mondays with JQ and Big Gil. I don't know if you guys saw the first round of March Madness this year, but if you did, you sure didn't miss much. That's right. There was no big upsets. Actually, if you picked the Vegas favorites, you would have gone 29-3 in the first round.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing is I was watching these games, and every time we were on the cusp of seeing something cool happen, like a big upset, all the favorites just ended up winning, and it tore me apart. It was no fun, and I ended up sleeping through a bunch of the games.
It's so different to watch when there's no Cinderellas out there. All the 1 through 4 seeds advance for the 4th time ever. It's crazy.
What's Xavier? What are they? 10 seed?
An 11 seed.
11? Okay. Well, they're our last chance for this to be a cool run.
Yeah, that's about it. Xavier is our last hope in this March Madness. Now back to the music on The Edge, 88.1.
And we're back. JQ and Big Gil here on Major League Mondays on 88.1 KDPS Des Moines. Some goofy news here out of Maine. There's a sport, I'm not sure if any of you guys know about it, called wife carrying. 44 competing couples put their relationships to the test by running through an obstacle course that includes log hurdles, traps, and mud. The man carries the wife over a 300-yard course, and the winning couple actually gets the lady's weight in beer and 5 times her weight in cash for the winnings.
The most recent winners were Elliot and Gianna Stoney of Westbrook, Maine. Kind of weird, this is the second news we've had out of Maine tonight. They ended up winning 11 cases of Goose Island Oktoberfest and $665. I guess you can do the math to figure out how much she weighed. This is 88.1 KDPS Des Moines.
You're listening to Grandview Radio, and now college football. Over the weekend, Baker Mayfield was arrested and charged with public intoxication, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and fleeing the scene. Mayfield was reportedly trying to break up a fight when the police came to take his statement, and he ran and disobeyed orders from the police, so they had to chase him down and tackle him.
If he was just breaking up a fight, why did he dip like this?
Something's fishy.
Yeah, there's something sketchy must have been going on somewhere. Baker, you just got to get one more year to not screw anything up, and you're going to be making millions. Just chill out for a year.
Yeah, I don't know what his draft stock would have been like this year, but he obviously made the choice to go back for his senior season at Oklahoma. But one question that I've been thinking about all day is, I thought he was like a Heisman candidate, so shouldn't he be able to outrun the cops?
Yeah, exactly. You would think that he would.
He must have been really intoxicated.
Yeah, really fast cops in Oklahoma. Now back to the music on the Edge, 88.1.
This is Grandview Radio, JQ and Big Gill in the studio here. Next, we're going to talk about Michael Floyd, Arizona Cardinals player. He was picked up by New England Patriots after he was dropped from the Cardinals for a DUI arrest. He won the Super Bowl with the Patriots, and now he's going to serve his 120-day jail sentence, 24 days in jail, 96 to be served at home detention. I don't really understand that. What do you make of this, serving the rest of your sentence at home?
I wonder if he wasn't a professional athlete, would he have to be serving 24 days in jail, or would he be serving all 120? That raises my ears a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he was driving with a .217 blood alcohol content. That is like triple the legal limit.
Yeah, that's a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, he was literally falling asleep behind the wheel, hammered, and then he went and played in the Super Bowl, and now he gets to serve his sentence at his house, which is probably really nice and really luxurious.
Yep, I'm sure it is. And you know, it doesn't make any sense to me, but he did have to pay $5,115.99.
That's pocket change.
Yeah, it really is. This, I mean, did he learn? He probably didn't learn his lesson. This could happen again. We'll see.
Athlete biases, alive and well.
Yep.
Back to the music with Glory Days from Bruce Springsteen. Over the weekend, the Associated Press requested documents from dozens of public universities and found that at least 20 or more share ownership in Plain businesses. And Ohio State is the main school being looked at right now, because Ohio State and Urban Meyer have a weird situation going on with the use of school planes.
Yeah, they've racked up quite the dollar amount here. Urban Meyer and his family took 11 personal trips in the school's plane last year, which was about $150,000 worth of flying. Is he flying to Japan and back every time he gets on a plane?
He took a couple trips to Florida. These were family trips. And then he also had another $350,000 of recruiting trips that he was flying around in this school plane. And this plane is funded by taxpayers and students, but mainly students. This is like tuition dollars that are flying the Meyer family around the country.
If I was a student at Ohio State, I would be irate, to say the least. This is ridiculous and just an absolute waste of spending money, especially with the 11 personal trips.
Urban Meyer can afford to fly his family. He does not need to be in the school's plane, the school's personal private jet, to fly his family just because he's the head coach. He can afford that kind of thing with his own salary.
Yeah, that wouldn't do. I don't think that would be anything to him, really. It'd just be a handful of change, nothing much.
Yep.
Now back to the music with Footloose on the Edge, 88.1.
You're listening to The Edge, 88.1, here, JQ and Big Gill in the studio on Major League Mondays. we got a big news story coming out of our own backyard. Up in Cedar Falls, Iowa, 2 NFL players were arrested this weekend after a fight broke out at a local bar.
That's some pretty big news coming out of Cedar Falls. Both these guys played at UNI and were back in town and got in a bar fight, and they actually had to tase DeAndre Hall to get him into the car.
Yeah, it was the Chicago Bears' DeAndre Hall and the Green Bay Packers' McKinton Dorleant. They both played at UNI, and they must have been doing something. But what's normally a quiet town, they got a lot of hype over the weekend because apparently there was a pretty big altercation going on. And I think they said Dorleant spit in a cop's face, and that's when DeAndre Hall got agitated, and then they had to tase him to get him in the car because he wasn't cooperating. Just a bad move.
Spitting in a police officer's face, that's the bold move of the week.
Is that it?
That's the bold move. That's not a good idea.
Especially if you're an NFL player, especially if he's a roster player, I should say. He didn't really play that much. He got injured and he saw very little time. But if you're in the NFL and you're doing this kind of thing, come on.
You're a public figure. You just got to make better decisions than that.
Better decisions.
Now back to the music on The Edge, 88.1.